Hey guys, it's Mrs. Burr, and well, this is it. We are going to read the very end of Percy Jackson today in The Lightning Thief. I can't believe we're to this point in the book already. Let's go ahead, let's get started. When we left off, they had just had their last night at camp, and Percy was going to have to decide what was he going to do for the rest of the year. Let's see what he decides to do. Okay, the next morning, I found a form letter on my bedside table. I knew Dionysus must have filled it out because he stubbornly insisted on getting my name wrong. Dear Peter Johnson, if you intend to stay at Camp Half-Blood year-round, you must inform the big house by noon today. If you do not announce your intentions, we will assume you have vacated your cabin or died a horrible death. Cleaning harpies will begin work at sundown. They will be authorized to eat any unregistered campers. All personal articles left behind will be incinerated in the lava pit. Have a nice day, Mr. D. Dionysus, Camp Director, Olympian Council number 12. That's another thing about ADHD. Deadlines aren't really real to me until I'm staring one in the face. Summer was over, and I still hadn't answered my mother, or the camp, about whether I'd be staying. Now I only had a few hours to decide. The decision should have been easy. I mean, 9 months of hero training or 9 months of sitting in a classroom. Duh. But there was my mom to consider. For the first time, I had a chance to live with her for a whole year without Gabe. I had a chance to be at home and knock around the city in my free time. I remembered what Annabeth had said so long ago on our quest. The real world is where the monsters are. That's where you learn if you're any good or not. I thought about the fate of Thalia, daughter of Zeus. I wondered how many monsters would attack me if I left Half-Blood Hill. If I stayed in one place for a whole school year without Chiron or my friends around to help me, would my mother and I even survive until next summer? Well, that was assuming that the spelling tests and the essays didn't kill me. I decided I'd go down to the arena and do some sword practice. Maybe that would clear my head. The campgrounds were mostly deserted, shimmering in the August heat. All the campers were in their cabins packing up or running around with brooms and mops, getting ready for final inspection. Argus was helping some of the Aphrodite kids haul their Gucci suitcases and makeup kits over the hill, where the camp shuttle bus would be waiting to take them to the airport. Don't think about leaving yet, I told myself, just train. I got to the sword fighters arena and found that Luke had the same idea. His gym bag was plopped at the edge of the stage. He was working solo, wheeling on a dummy with a sword I'd never seen before. It must have been a regular steel blade, because he was slashing the dummies' heads right off, stabbing through their straw-stuffed guts. His orange counselor shirt was dripping with sweat. His expression was so intense, his life might have really been in danger. I watched, fascinated, as he took care of the whole row of dummies, hacking off limbs and basically reducing them to a pile of straw and armor. They were only dummies, but I couldn't help but being awed by Luke's skill. The guy was an incredible fighter. It made me wonder again how he possibly could have failed at his quest. Finally, he saw me and stopped mid-swing. Percy? Sorry, I said, embarrassed. It's okay, he said, lowering his sword. Just doing some last-minute practice. Well, I don't think those dummies are going to be bothering anybody anymore. Luke shrugged. We build new ones every summer. Now that his sword wasn't swirling around, I could see something odd about it. The blade was 2 different types of metal. One edge bronze, the other steel. Luke noticed me looking at it. Oh, this new toy is Backbiter. Backbiter? Luke turned to the blade in the light so it glinted wickedly. One side's celestial bronze, the other's tempered steel. Works on mortals and immortals both. I thought about what Chiron had told me when I started my quest, that a hero should never harm mortals unless absolutely necessary. I didn't know they made weapons like that. They probably can't, Luke agreed. It's one of a kind. He gave me a tiny smile and then slid the sword into his scabbard. Listen, I was going to come looking for you. What do you say we go down to the woods one last time and look for something to fight? I don't know why I hesitated. I should have felt relieved that Luke was being so friendly. Ever since I'd gotten back from the quest, he'd been acting a little distant. Like I was afraid that he might resent me for all the attention I'd gotten. You think it's a good idea? I mean, come on. He rummaged around in his bag and pulled out a 6-pack of Cokes. Drinks are on me. I stared at the Cokes, wondering where on earth he'd gotten them. There were no regular mortal sodas at the camp store. No way to smuggle them in unless you talked to a satyr, maybe. Of course, the magic dinner goblets would fill up with anything you want, but it just didn't taste the same as a real Coke straight out of the can. Sugar and caffeine. My willpower crumbled. Sure, I decided, why not? We walked down to the woods and kicked around for some kind of monster to fight, but it was too hot. All the monsters with any sense must have been taking siestas in their nice cool caves. We found a shady spot by the creek where I'd broken Clarissa's spear during my first capture the flag game. We sat down on a big rock, drank our Cokes, and watched the sunlight in the woods. After a while, Luke said, "You miss being on a quest?" "With monsters attacking me every 3 feet? Are you kidding?" Luke raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, I miss it," I admitted. You? A shadow passed over his face. I was used to hearing from the girls how good-looking Luke was, but at the moment, he looked weary and angry, and not handsome at all. His blonde hair was gray in the sunlight. The scar on his face looked deeper than usual. I could have imagined him as an old man. "I lived at Camp Half-Blood year-round since I was 14, he told me. "Ever since Thalia, well, you know, I trained and trained and trained. I never got to be a normal teenager out there in the real world. Then they threw me one quest, and when I came back, it was like, okay, ride's over, have a nice life." He crumpled his Coke can and threw it in the creek, which really shocked me. One of the first things you learn at Camp Half-Blood is don't litter. You'll hear from the nymphs and the naiads, and they'll get even. You'll crawl into bed one night and find your sheets filled with centipedes and mud. "Heck with laurel wreaths," Luke said. "I'm not going to end up like those dusty trophies in the big house attic." "You make it sound like you're leaving." Luke gave me a twisted smile. "Oh, I'm leaving all right, Percy. I came down here to tell you goodbye." He snapped his fingers. A small fire burned a hole at the ground at my feet. Out of it crawled something glistening black, about the size of my hand. A scorpion. I started to go for my pen. "I wouldn't," Luke cautioned. "Pit scorpions can jump 15 feet. Its stinger could pierce right through your clothes. You'd be dead in 60 seconds. "Luke, what?" Then it hit me. "You'll be betrayed by someone who calls you a friend." "You," I said. He stood calmly and brushed off his jeans. The scorpion paid him no attention. It kept its beady black eyes on me, clamping its pincers as it crawled onto my shoe. "I saw a lot of the world out there, Percy," Luke said. "Didn't you feel it? The darkness gathering, the monsters growing stronger. Didn't you realize how useless it all is? All the heroics, being pawns of the gods. They should have been overthrown thousands of years ago, but they hung on thanks to us half-bloods." I couldn't believe this was happening. "Luke, you're talking about our parents," I said. He laughed. "Ha! Like that's supposed to make me love them? Precious Western civilization is a disease, Percy. It's killing the world. The only way to stop it is to burn it to the ground and start over with something more honest." "You're as crazy as Ares." His eyes flared. "Ares is a fool. He never realized the true master he was serving. If I had time, Percy, I could explain. But I'm afraid you won't live that long." The scorpion crawled onto my pant leg. There had to be a way out of this. I needed time to think. "Kronos," I said. "That's who you serve." The air got colder. You should be more careful with names, Luke warned. Kronos got you to steal the Master Bolt and the helm. He spoke to you in your dreams. Luke's eye twitched. Spoke to you too, Percy. Should have listened. He's brainwashing you, Luke. You're wrong. He showed me that my talents are being wasted. You know what my quest was 2 years ago, Percy? My father Hermes, he wanted me to steal a golden apple from the Garden of Hesperides and return it to Olympus. After all the training I'd done, that was the best thing he could come up with. That's not an easy quest, I said. Hercules did it. Exactly. What's the glory in repeating what somebody else has already done? All the gods know how to do is replay their past. My heart wasn't in it. The dragon in the garden gave me this. He pointed angrily at his scar. And when I came back, all I got was pity. I wanted to pull Olympus down stone by stone then. But I bided my time. I began to dream of Kronos. He convinced me to steal something worthwhile, something no hero had ever had the courage to take. When we went on that winter solstice field trip while the other campers were asleep, I snuck into the throne room and took Zeus's Master Bolt right from his chair. Hades' Helm of Darkness, too. You wouldn't believe how easy it was. The Olympians are so arrogant, they never dreamed someone would dare steal from them. Their security is horrible. I was halfway across New Jersey before they heard the storms rumbling, and I knew they'd discover my theft. The scorpion was sitting on my knee now, staring at me with glittering eyes. I tried to keep my voice level. So why didn't you take the items to Kronos? Luke's smile wavered. I got overconfident. Zeus sent out his sons and daughters to find the stolen bolt. Artemis, Apollo, my father Hermes. But it was Ares who caught me. I could have beaten him, but I wasn't careful enough. He disarmed me, took the items of power, threatened to return them to Olympus and burn me alive. Then Kronos' voice came to me and told me what to say. I put the idea in Ares' head about a great war between the gods. I said all he had to do was hide the items away for a while and watch the others fight. Ares got a wicked gleam in his eyes. I knew he was hooked. He let me go and returned to Olympus before anyone noticed my absence. Luke drew his new sword. He ran his thumb down the flat of the blade as if hypnotized by its beauty. Afterward, the Lord of the Titans, he punished me with nightmares. I swore not to fail again. Back at Camp Half-Blood in my dreams, I was told a second hero would arrive. One could be tricked into taking the bolt and the helm the rest of the way. From Ares to Tartarus. You're the one who summoned the hound in the night in the forest. Hey, we had to make Chiron think camp wasn't safe for you, so he would start you on your quest. We had to confirm his fears that Hades was after you. And it worked. The flying shoes were cursed. I said, they were supposed to drag me and the backpack into Tartarus. And they would have if you'd been wearing them, but you gave them to the satyr, which wasn't part of the plan. Grover messes up everything he touches. He even confused the curse. Luke looked down at the scorpion, which was now sitting on my thigh. Should have died in Tartarus, Percy. Don't worry, I'll leave you here with my little friend to set things straight. Thalia gave her life to save you, I said, gritting my teeth. And this is how you repay her? Don't even speak of Thalia, he shouted. The gods let her die. It's one of the main things they'll pay for. You're being used, Luke. You and Ares both. Don't listen to Kronos. I've been used? Luke's voice turned shrill. Look at yourself. What has your dad ever done for you? Kronos will rise. You only delayed his plans. He will cast the Olympians into Tartarus and drive humanity back to their caves. All except the strongest, the ones who serve him. Call off the bug, I said. If you're so strong, fight me yourself. Luke smiled. Nice try, Percy. I'm not Ares. You can't bait me. My lord is waiting. He's got plenty of quests for me to undertake. Luke. Goodbye, Percy. There's a new golden age coming. You won't be part of it. He slashed his sword in an arc and disappeared in a ripple of darkness. The scorpion lunged. I swatted it away with my hand and uncapped my sword. The thing jumped at me and I cut it in half mid-air. I was about to congratulate myself until I looked down at my hand. My palm had a huge red welt, oozing and smoking with yellow guck. The thing had gotten to me after all. My ears pounded. My vision went foggy. The water, I thought. It helped me before. I stumbled to the creek and submerged my hand. Nothing seemed to happen. The poison was too strong. My vision was getting dark. I could barely stand up. 60 seconds, Luke had told me. I had to get back to camp. If I collapsed out here, my body would be dinner for a monster. Nobody would find me. No one would ever know what happened. My legs felt like lead. My forehead was burning. I stumbled towards the camp and the nymphs stirred from their trees. Help, I croaked. Please. 2 of them took my arms, pulling me along. I remember making it to the clearing, a counselor shouting for help, a centaur blowing a conch horn. Then everything went black. All right, you know what? Tomorrow we'll find out if he survives, and then we'll be completely done with the book. See you then.